Celestial Refugees, Chapter 6. The tension aboard the USS Pioneer was palpable as the crew prepared for the potential confrontation with the unknown ships rapidly closing in on their position. Captain Elara Tran stood firm at the command center, her eyes fixed on the screen displaying the approaching vessels. Her crew, battle-worn yet resilient, readied themselves for whatever might come next. "Status report," Elara commanded, her voice steady despite the uncertainty that lay ahead. Leo Rodriguez, monitoring the ship's systems, responded with a note of caution in his voice. "Defensive systems are partially up, but we're not equipped for a full-scale conflict. Our best bet is still to avoid a fight." Nia Patel, who had been analyzing the data from their encounter with the alien structure, added, "We've sent out peaceful communication attempts, but there's been no response. They're still on a direct course towards us." Elara weighed their limited options. "Keep trying to establish contact. We need to understand their intentions. Prepare for evasive maneuvers if things go south." Just then, the ship's communication system crackled to life, and a voice, distorted and unfamiliar, came through. "USS Pioneer, you are trespassing in restricted space. Identify yourselves and state your purpose." Elara quickly responded, "This is Captain Elara Tran of the USS Pioneer. We are on a scientific exploration mission and mean no harm. Our ship sustained damage, and we're in need of assistance." There was a brief pause before the voice replied, "Stand by for further instructions." The crew exchanged wary glances. The response was neither overtly hostile nor reassuring. The uncertainty of the situation hung heavily in the air. Outside, the alien sun cast a harsh light on the Pioneer, highlighting the scars and makeshift repairs on its hull. The ship, a symbol of human ingenuity and determination, seemed small and vulnerable against the vast backdrop of space and the approaching ships. As they waited, Elara contemplated their next move. The encounter with the alien structure had already added a layer of complexity to their mission, and now this new development threatened to escalate things further. She knew that the coming hours could define the fate of her crew and their mission. In the medical bay, Alexei remained unconscious, his visions from the alien structure locked away within his mind. The medical team worked diligently, but the sergeant's condition was a stark reminder of the unknown dangers they faced. "Stay alert, everyone," Elara instructed, her eyes never leaving the screen. "We need to be ready for anything." The Pioneer remained in a tense state of readiness as the unknown ships drew closer. Elara Tran, maintaining her composure, stood by the communications console, awaiting the next communication from the approaching vessels. The crew was on edge, each member silently preparing for a range of possible scenarios. The ships, now visible on the main screen, bore a sleek and intimidating design, unlike any known human or allied spacecraft. Their hulls were dark, adorned with markings that were foreign to the Pioneer's crew. As they braced for what might come, the communication system activated once more. The voice, cold and authoritative, addressed them. "USS Pioneer, you will power down your engines and prepare to be boarded. Any resistance will be met with force." The command was like a shockwave through the crew. Elara quickly weighed their options. Surrendering could mean capture or worse, but resistance might lead to a conflict they were ill-prepared for. "Captain, what are your orders?" Leo asked, his hand hovering over the console, ready to enact whatever decision Elara made. Elara took a deep breath, her strategic mind racing. "Power down the engines, but keep our defensive systems on standby." "We'll comply, but we need to be ready in case things turn hostile." As the engines powered down, the silence aboard the Pioneer was deafening. The crew waited anxiously, watching as a smaller craft detached from one of the ships and began to approach. In these moments, Elara thought of Alexei, still unconscious in the medical bay, a victim of their last encounter with the unknown. His condition was a stark reminder of the dangers they faced in uncharted space. As the boarding craft docked with the Pioneer, Elara addressed her crew, her voice firm. Stay calm, but be vigilant. We don't know their intentions. We'll cooperate, but be ready to defend ourselves if necessary. The airlock door opened, revealing a group of armed figures clad in suits that were clearly designed for combat. They stepped aboard the Pioneer, their movements precise and their intentions yet unclear. The leader of the group, a tall figure with a visor obscuring their face, spoke. "I am Commander Rylak. You are in a restricted zone under the jurisdiction of the Galactic Coalition. You will be taken to our command ship for questioning." Elara stepped forward to meet the commander, her posture unyielding yet diplomatic. "We meant no intrusion, Commander Rylak. We're explorers and scientists, and we've encountered unexpected difficulties. We seek only to repair our ship and continue our journey." Commander Rylak surveyed the Pioneer's crew, his gaze lingering on each member before returning to Elara. "Your intentions will be assessed. Cooperate, and you may be granted leniency." The situation was now a delicate balancing act between cooperation and maintaining the integrity of their mission. As the crew was escorted off the Pioneer, their future uncertain, they knew that the challenges ahead would test their resolve and ingenuity like never before. The crew of the USS Pioneer, now under the watchful eyes of Commander Rylak and his team, was cautiously escorted through the airlock and onto the alien craft. The interior of the vessel was stark and utilitarian, a stark contrast to the more lived-in feel of the Pioneer. The hallways were lined with unfamiliar technology and armed guards, a constant reminder of their precarious situation. Elara, leading her crew, kept a composed facade, her mind racing with strategies and contingencies. She couldn't help but wonder about the Galactic Coalition mentioned by Rylak. This was a significant development, possibly indicating a vast and unknown political landscape in this part of the galaxy. As they were led into a briefing room, the crew was seated around a large table. Commander Rylak stood at the head, his visor now retracted to reveal a stern but not unkind face. "You have entered Coalition space without authorization," he began, his voice firm. "This area is under quarantine due to its proximity to the unstable region known as the Rift. Your presence here is a serious violation." Elara spoke up, "Commander, our entry was not intentional. We encountered an anomaly that damaged our ship and threw us off course. We're not familiar with the Rift or your coalition. We come from a sector far from here, exploring uncharted space." "You are not familiar with the Galactic Coalition," Rylak stated, more as a fact than a question. "This is by design. Certain governments, including yours, have chosen to keep our existence a secret from their populations." Elara's expression tightened, a mix of surprise and suspicion crossing her features. "Why would our government do that? And why label you as hostiles?" Rylak leaned forward, his demeanor suggesting a mix of frustration and resignation. "Politics and fear," he began. "The Coalition oversees a vast expanse of space, maintaining order and stability. Your government stumbled upon us years ago but deemed our existence too disruptive to their agenda. They've painted us as a threat to avoid the complexities of galactic diplomacy." The crew exchanged glances, absorbing the gravity of Rylak's revelations. The universe was far more politically intricate and perilous than they had ever been led to believe. Rylak continued, "Your accidental intrusion into our space, and interaction with the ancient structure, has placed us in a delicate situation. The ancient's technology is powerful and enigmatic, often attracting unsavory interest. Your activation of the structure could have far-reaching consequences." Elara, processing this new information, realized the enormity of their situation. They were now inadvertently entangled in galactic politics and ancient mysteries. It was at this moment that a medical officer interrupted, informing them of Alexei's regained consciousness. Rylak permitted Elara and her crew to visit him, emphasizing the importance of understanding Alexei's experience with the ancient structure. In the medical bay, Alexei, still weak but coherent, recounted his visions, images of an advanced civilization, their technologies, and a cryptic map of the stars. His narrative was fragmented but hinted at a vast network and knowledge far beyond current human understanding. As Elara comforted Alexei, she couldn't help but feel a sense of foreboding. The Pioneer's journey of exploration had evolved into a precarious dance on the edge of galactic intrigue and ancient legacies. Rylak's final words to Elara before they left the medical bay resonated with a sobering truth. "Your journey has taken an unforeseen path, Captain Tran. The choices you make now will not only determine the fate of your crew but could ripple across the galaxy." The crew returned to their vessel under the watchful eyes of the Coalition. The Pioneer, once just an exploratory vessel, was now a linchpin in a narrative that spanned the cosmos. Outside, the stars shone indifferently against the backdrop of space, each one a silent witness to the unfolding drama.